Ever found yourself reaching for that extra cookie even when you know you shouldn't? Or scrolling endlessly on your phone late at night, even though you promised yourself you'd sleep early? I know I have. Temptation is like a whisper that grows louder the more we try to ignore it, and sometimes it feels like we're its prisoner. In this video, I want to dive deep into why we become slaves to temptation, and more importantly, how we can break free. I'll share my personal struggles, real life examples, a timeless story, and reveal the deeper forces greed, lust, attachment, anger, and pride that pull us into temptation. And of course, I'll give you powerful tools that you can start using today. What is the root of our temptations? Temptation isn't random. It's deeply connected to what ancient traditions call the five inner enemies: greed, lust, attachment, anger, and pride. These five forces act like invisible strings constantly pulling us outward, away from our inner peace. Greed makes us crave more than we need. Lust blinds us with desires of the senses. Attachment causes us to cling to people, outcomes, and objects. Anger clouds our judgment when things don't go our way. Pride inflates our ego and disconnects us from humility. I've felt all five pull me at different times. For example, my obsession with online shopping wasn't just random, it was driven by greed and attachment. I wanted more, thinking it would make me feel better or fill some emotional gap. Let me share a powerful story that illustrates the pull of temptation. The tale of the monk and the golden robe. Once, in ancient times, there was a humble monk who lived in the forest. He owned nothing but a simple robe and a begging bowl. His heart was peaceful and his mind calm. One day, a wealthy merchant visited the forest and saw the monk meditating. Impressed by his serenity, the merchant gifted him a magnificent golden robe. At first, the monk hesitated, but eventually accepted the robe out of politeness. However, as days passed, he grew attached to it. He began worrying that someone might steal it. His peaceful meditations were interrupted by anxious thoughts. Soon, pride crept in, as he felt superior to other monks because of his robe. One night, a thief came and stole the golden robe. Devastated, the monk realized how his mind had been enslaved by greed, attachment, pride, and fear. He vowed never again to let external possessions control his peace. This story reflects our struggle perfectly. Temptation starts small, but quickly wraps its chains around us, pulling us away from inner stillness. Let's talk about the brain's chemistry. On a scientific level, when we give in to temptation, our brain releases dopamine, the chemical responsible for pleasure and reward. This dopamine hit creates a powerful loop: craving, reward, reinforcement. The more often we indulge, the stronger these neural pathways become, turning what started as an occasional urge into a deeply ingrained habit. For example, I struggled with late night snacking. I wasn't hungry, not physically, but sitting in front of the TV became a powerful trigger. The comfort of food combined with the relaxation of television created the perfect storm for my brain to crave that dopamine rush. In the moment, it felt rewarding, but once the brief pleasure faded, it was replaced by regret and frustration. I wasn't eating to nourish myself, I was feeding a loop. And this is where the five inner forces, greed, lust, attachment, anger, and pride, amplify the problem. Greed whispered that one more snack wouldn't hurt. Attachment clung to the comfort of my nightly routine. Pride excused the behavior, telling me I deserved it after a long day. Each force fed into the brain's chemical cycle, making temptation feel even more overpowering and harder to escape. Let's bring this into modern life. Greed. I used to constantly upgrade my gadgets, always believing the next phone or computer would make me more productive or happy. Lust. Social media is full of images that fuel desires for things and appearances we don't even need. Attachment. I once stayed in a toxic friendship far too long, unable to let go because I was attached to the history and memories, even when it was draining my energy. Anger. There were times I lashed out at work under stress, only to regret it later, realizing how I let anger dictate my actions. Pride. At times, I refused to ask for help, thinking I could handle everything myself. That pride delayed my growth. So, why temptation is so hard to resist? Several factors amplify temptation: emotional triggers, stress, boredom, loneliness all fuel our cravings. Environment, easy access makes resistance harder. Fatigue. When we're tired, our discipline weakens. Instant gratification. Culture. Society constantly feeds us quick fixes, training us to expect immediate rewards. How I started taking control. I realized I couldn't rely on willpower alone. I needed to outsmart temptation at its roots. 1. Awareness. I began journaling my triggers. I wrote down what sparked my urges, whether it was stress, boredom, or certain environments. 2. Environment control. I removed junk food from my home, disabled notifications, and unsubscribed from marketing emails. 3. Mindful substitution. Instead of evening phone scrolling, I read or listen to calming music. 4. Delay tactic. Whenever temptation struck, I would pause for 10 to 15 minutes. This small gap helped many cravings pass. 5. Meditation. Daily meditation helped me observe my urges without acting on them. I learned to witness temptation as a passing cloud. 6. Surrendering pride. I sought accountability from friends, admitted my struggles, and asked for support. Here are 10 top tips to control temptation. Here are actionable tips you can apply today. Tip 1. Know your enemies. Acknowledge the 5 forces at play: greed, lust, attachment, anger, and pride. Tip 2. Self awareness: journal your triggers. Know when and why temptation strikes. Tip 3. Reduce exposure, remove temptations from easy reach. Tip 4. Replace with positives, find healthier alternatives for unhealthy habits. Tip 5. Use delay, pause before reacting, let the urge pass. Tip 6. Visualize long term peace. Focus on the calm and satisfaction of self mastery rather than the fleeting pleasure of indulgence. Tip 7. Strengthen your why. Daily reminders of your higher purpose help ground you. Tip 8. Physical health. Eat well, sleep well, and exercise. A strong body supports a strong mind. Tip 9. Forgive and reset. Slipping up is human. Quickly reset your course. Tip 10. Surround yourself with support. Find a community or accountability partner. Science confirms this. Modern research backs these principles. Neuroplasticity: with consistent effort, we can rewire our habits. Habit loops: by interrupting the cue routine reward loop, we can form new, healthier habits. CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, helps us challenge distorted thoughts fueling temptation. My personal transformation. A year ago, I was drowning in procrastination. My work suffered as I kept reaching for my phone, giving in to small distractions. Finally, I committed to change. I cut off the triggers. I disabled notifications, limited screen time, and created focused work periods. At first, it was difficult, but as weeks passed, my focus returned, my work improved, and I felt lighter inside. This victory over one temptation gave me strength to tackle others. Slowly, I addressed my diet, spending, and emotional reactions. Temptation is a battle we all face. The five forces of greed, lust, attachment, anger, and pride constantly pull us outward, away from our center. But we are not powerless. Through awareness, preparation, daily practice, and spiritual wisdom, we can reclaim control over our minds and lives. Let's recap. Temptation thrives on both brain chemistry and emotional triggers. The five inner enemies fuel our weaknesses. Modern life makes temptation dangerously accessible. Awareness, environment control, mindfulness, and support systems are the keys to freedom. Science proves we can rewire our brain and break free. I am still on this journey, as are many of you. Each day we resist, we grow stronger. Remember, you are not your temptation. You are the master of your choices. If this video resonated with you, share your story in the comments. Let's support each other in conquering these inner enemies. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more. Stay strong, stay disciplined, and stay centered.